toxic masculinity.
Darling,
Mm.
do you have any super chats?
I did catch 3 super chat. I don't know if you read them.
No, I didn't read
Because
anything.
while I
If
was
you guys have
driving-
any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the chat now. We will read them and we will chat about them. What do we got first?
First from Frank James. I don't know if it's first one because I couldn't see your live stream earlier.
Mm-hmm.
From Frank James, is Mexico doing anything to help these refugees?
Maybe. It's a good question because there was a lot of stuff that was put together during the Trump administration. So that stuff may still be happening now. Although I don't think Mexico is as sympathetic to immigrants as Americans are, just like as a culture. Like, I've seen footage from Mexico about immigrants coming from like Guatemala, and a lot of Mexicans are just straight up racist, like openly racist against Guatemalans. They'll just say like, "Oh, those are like you know trashy, horrible people from Guatemala. They're you know they're trash or whatever." Like they'll say pretty negative things about them. Whereas in America, we you'd never people don't typically say bad things about people that just because they're from a different country or they're from a different culture. But you will hear that in Mexico. So I don't know if there's really the public support for helping immigrants like there is in America. That I suppose to some degree that's actually a good part of this sort of like leftist craziness is that they do sort of push our government and people generally from a social position to be more sympathetic to those who are maybe suffering. They try to point out where the suffering is. The problem with the left, though, is that they often get wrong where the suffering is. So they'll say, these people are victims. We have to help these people. And those people aren't victims at all. They're actually doing just fine. And, you have another group of people over here who are indeed victims, and they are suffering immensely, but because of all of our focus is on, I have it on you the whole time, because all our focus is on the, this group that's like the fake group of victims, we're neglecting the group that really needs the help. That's the sort of irony. The leftists want us to be more sympathetic. You look like you're about to laugh at something.
You don't have your camera switched.
Oh, that I didn't have the camera switched? You can interrupt me.
I'm afraid to.
That's not true when we're not on camera. Suddenly we're on camera. She's afraid to interrupt me. Okay, sure. Sure, I believe you.
I don't want you to say, I'll beat you later.
I'll beat you later. Yeah.
Exactly, see?
Yeah. That's
I'll
a
beat
kind
you
of
later
ongoing
because you did
joke.
not interrupt
I'll beat
me.
you later. Yeah. I always say that. Okay. It's yet to happen, but I'm telling you, one day, Valeria, you're going to get it. All right, do we have another story?
Yes.
Yes.
From Tara Hutch.
Hey, buddy.
Aston. Shh. Aston. Stop it. Stop. Chris,
Yes.
I tried to email you about a week ago from your website. How do I get a hold of you?
Oh, don't email me from my website. I don't think I have access to that email. I didn't actually set that website up. Is a friend of mine, a good guy, a great guy, fan, but he didn't. I don't know. I'm not connected to that. So email me at thereaganesqueconservative@gmail.com. And you'll have to figure out how that's spelled. The Reagan-esque conservative. The Reagan, ESQUE, conservative@gmail.com. It's a long email. And again, I don't have myself on camera. Okay, Valerie, do you want to read the next super chat?
Yes.
I'll just leave it on the 2. So that I don't...
Okay.
Yes.
Patriot Daniel.
Oh, Daniel, our favorite.
I'm now self-identifying as an animavilian. I'm now known as Mask. I can control people's mind through COVID mask. I control China's population.
An anime villain.
Animavillain.
Anime is a kind of like
Villain.
villain.
Is it?
Yeah, villain. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't really yeah, anyway. Anime is a kind of Japanese cartoons, right? Japanese animations. They do animations. They're not really for children. They're for adults. They're not considered cartoons so much. But I'm now identifying as an anime villain. I'm now known as Mask. I can control people's minds through COVID masks. I control China's population. That's pretty funny. I like that. Well, Democrats think that we're all anime villains. Anybody who doesn't agree with their crazy leftist ideas. Yeah. The show would have been better, I think, if you were here, darling. It's a shame that you didn't.
Well, I made it.
You did make it. You did make it for the very, very end. Do you want to respond to anything else, or shall we just close the show out?
I do not see any other super chats.
But we could just respond to people talking. Let's see here. Right. Okay. Jeff Beal writes, what do you I think he means, what do you think about these old white politicians who have to gain what do these old white politicians have to gain by making the world hate white people? Like, what's their end game? So this is the motivations and the intentions of white politicians who try to create animosity against white people. I don't think they really want people to hate white people. What I think they want is for people to perceive a threat or perceive a villain, right? And ideally that villain is white men, because white men mostly vote for Republicans, and they want to demonize Republicans. At the end of the day, they want to demonize Republicans. But they also want to say, I'm your savior. I'm going to save you. You have this evil threat of the evil white Republican who's going to make your life worse, who's going to reduce your quality of life, and who's going to steal from you and improve his quality of life at your expense, right? You're going to be pushed down, and he's going to be raised up. This is what the evil white Republican does, right? This is what the Democrat tells them. And you know who's going to stop that from happening? I am. I'm going to stop that from happening because I care about you. Because I'm a good Democrat who loves black people and gays. That's their position. That's the whole game. That's the whole motivation. That's the whole intent. The whole intention is to get votes, to stay in power. And so it's all just a game. It's all just a game to them. That's why when I showed you that Nancy Pelosi video about her talking about the wrap-up smear, and she knows that so intimately, why? And she goes, "This is if you want to talk politics, that's not talking politics, Nancy Pelosi. Don't frame it that way. That's talking basically criminality. That's talking like she is basically an unethical, horrible person. And she's just like, well, this is just politics. That's why you're an evil politician. That's why people hate politicians, is because of women like her. And then you have people like Matt Gaetz, who are not evil politicians, who are good men, but they're smeared by people like Nancy Pelosi. That's why you have to have Republicans in office and get out as many Democrats as you can, because Democrats are criminals. If you vote for a Democrat, you're voting for a criminal. All right. Anything else, darling?
We have another super chat.
Oh, excellent.
Joe Sullivan,
I believe his name is.
Sorry. Joe Biden self-identifies as the president. I still don't see what he thinks he is.
Self-identifies as the president. Yeah, he does. Hey, you want out? What's that? Yeah, Joe Biden wants to, still wants to be the president. Well, here's the thing. So Joe Biden has been officially labeled as the president. He's officially holds that title. He sits, he lives in the White House. He sits at the Oval Office. He does all the sort of like moving around and, talking to reporters and all that kind of stuff like you would do if you were, he doesn't really talk to reporters, but, he does a lot of the stuff you would do if you were president, but he doesn't actually make the decisions. And so I think Joe Biden's got what he wants. Joe Biden is going to go down in history as a president of the United States of America, rightly or wrongly. And anyway, it's, we think what we think and they think what they think. But we all know Joe Biden doesn't control anything. Even Democrats know that, I think. Darling, was today a tough day?
Terrible.
You do not. You look exhausted.
I slept 2 hours.
All right. Well, let's end the show. Thank you guys for all of your conversations. Frank James writes, the Pelosi clip from earlier triggered me. The B asterisk pisses me off. Manipulative H asterisk. I agree with you, Frank. I love playing that video because it illustrates how corrupt Democrats are. Okay, guys, that's it for the show. You guys are awesome. I love all of you, and thank you for watching. And we will see you guys next time. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of other good stories. Hopefully, we can update you on the whole situation with Matt Gaetz. But probably not. It'll probably take a while for that. But yeah, hopefully, there'll be some new breaking stuff, and we'll be able to talk about some interesting subjects. All right, you guys have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow. Oh, I should do the outro, right? Okay, here's the outro. You want to say goodbye?
Good night.
Good night. Toxic masculinity.